Welcome back to our Business 101 online series with Professor Joe Lane. We're in the marketing section of Business 101. The marketing section is chapters 13, 14, 15, and 16. And we've talked about the fact that we're all experts when it comes to marketing because we all participate in the exchange. We buy things and we sell things. So far we've covered chapter 13, which is kind of an introduction to marketing. We've covered chapter 14, which is talking about products. And chapter 15, we're going to be looking at placement. Now, if you remember the 4 P's of marketing, you have the product, you have the way the product is priced, you have where the product is placed so it's convenient to the consumer, to the customer, and then you have the way that the product is promoted. We're looking at promotion. In chapter 14, we did a lot of stuff concerning the product, and we did a few things concerning how you price the product. Chapter 15, we're going to be talking about placement of the product. In other words, the manufacturer is manufacturing or producing this product, but the product has to get to close proximity to the customer for the customer to be able to buy it. We're not going to go a long way to buy a package of M&Ms. And so that's the idea. Now, I've put some names in here for you. Agent brokers, wholesalers, and retailers. These are the folks that help move product from the manufacturer to us, the ultimate consumer. Now these folks together, are called marketing intermediaries. Marketing intermediaries. If you're looking at your study notes, which is kind of a short page for chapter 15, because this is a relatively short chapter, the people that help move the product from the business to us, the ultimate consumer, the wholesalers, the retailers, the agent brokers, these folks are called marketing intermediaries. Now, the movement of those products from the manufacturer to us as a consumer, they move that product by way of what's called the channel, or actually channels of distribution. And in this day of the internet, technology, and these sort of things, there's a kind of an additional what I'm going to add here. A lot of manufacturers sell their product somewhat by way of the internet directly to the customer. Now, are manufacturers going to be able to sell everything they purchase by way of the internet to the customers? No. But there is an internet presence for almost every company. Still, most of those things travel from manufacturer to us by way of the marketing intermediaries. Let me give you kind of a good example of that. On the interstate, do you ever notice how many cars are there? Okay, now let's talk about trucks and 18-wheelers. Sometimes you feel like there's more 18-wheelers on the road than there are cars. And you have to kind of watch out for them. What are those 18-wheelers doing? Going up and down that highway, seems like 24 hours a day. Well, almost all of them are moving product. Most of those 18-wheelers have products in them that they're moving closer to the consumer. So if you want to think about the channels of distribution, just think about the interstate, because in essence they are moving those products to us. Now let's break this down a little bit as far as who these folks are. Agent brokers, these are people that work with manufacturers to get products to wholesalers. They don't take possession of the goods, they simply work with the manufacturer and wholesaler to get them together. This could be true a lot of times, let's say with agricultural products. Let's say that you are a grower of apples. I've used that example before. Well, you're really good at growing apples, but you're not good at distributing apples. You can't get your apples all over the United States. You've got to rely on others to do that. So what you would do is you would probably contact an agent broker. An agent broker would be a person who knows wholesalers, They know in this particular case the agricultural business, and so they bring you together with wholesalers or wholesalers that can move your product. So they're kind of the middlemen between the other members of the marketing intermediaries and the manufacturer. Now wholesalers take possession of the product, but they move that product on to retailers. And retailers are the ones that we're most familiar with. Retailers are different from the other members of the marketing intermediaries in one particular way. Retailers are the ones that sell to us. So if you look at your handout, by the way, I probably would know what the channel of distribution is, and I'd probably be familiar with what agent brokers, wholesalers, and retailers are. Okay, now what do these folks do? We've talked about moving the product. Well, that's true. So one of the things that these people here do as far as marketing intermediaries, they move the product from one location to another. Sometimes they store products. If you ever notice, a lot of times Christmas trees come out in October. Well, those Christmas trees that Walmart and a lot of these other companies bring out, do you think those trees have just been shipped in? Or do you think maybe those trees have been stored at that store that didn't sell the season before and now they're bringing them back out? So another thing that marketing intermediaries do, they store merchandise. They also, looking at retailers, but all of these, they sell merchandise. Wholesalers sell to retailers, retailers sell to us. They also have to, if they sell, they're going to have to advertise. And obviously, these folks have to build relationships with each other because they work together. So when you're looking at what do marketing intermediaries do, there's a number of things, but primarily they move product, they store product, they sell them, they advertise, they build relationships. They're very, very critical. Now what I've done on your study guide, I've told you 3 things about marketing intermediaries. So let's go over those 3 things. First of all, does a manufacturer have to use marketing intermediaries? The answer to that is this: not really. This manufacturer does not have to use marketing intermediaries. But does that product have to be moved? Yes. In a lot of cases, does that product have to be stored? True. Somebody's got to sell that product to the consumer, and in selling that product, you've got to promote it or advertise it. So if you're not going to be doing those things, or if these marketing intermediaries, are not going to be doing those things, who's going to be doing them? You are. You are. Well, I'm really, really good at building furniture, but I'm not good at doing this. And that's why we have marketing intermediaries, because these folks are experts at producing the product. They're not experts at distributing the product. So the first thing we looked at here is this. If I'm looking at 3 points about marketing intermediaries. They can be eliminated, but their activities cannot. You can eliminate and not use, if you're a manufacturer, any of these folks. But when you decide not to use them, you've got to do this yourself. Now, point number 2. They have survived marketing intermediaries in the past because they perform marketing functions cheaper and faster. These folks are the experts. I'm the expert in manufacturing something. These are the folks that are expert in doing these sort of things. So these people can do it faster and cheaper because this is what they do. That's why most businesses utilize marketing intermediaries instead of trying to do these things themselves. The third thing is this: do marketing intermediaries add cost to products? Well, sure. Well, sure. Because to move it, to store it, to sell it, to advertise it, that costs money. So marketing intermediaries, they add cost to the product. But marketing intermediaries will tell you this: yeah, we add cost to the product, but we provide some great value for the product as well. And let me throw these up here for you. You have them on your study guide, but let me put them up here. Marketing intermediaries get the product to you in the right form. They get the product to you at the right time. They put the product in the right place. They allow you to take possession of the product. They give you information about the product, and they provide service for the product. So let's look at these for just a moment. Marketing intermediaries say, yeah, we add cost, but we also provide valuable services that we have to have, or you have to have, if there's going to be an exchange. Quick examples of each. Putting it in the right form. If you go into Old Navy, do they have all those clothes just piled up in great big piles and you just have to dive in and try to find your stuff? No. They're all on racks. They're all by size, men's, women's, children's. They put them in the right form or format for you to be able to shop easily. Does that take time and effort and people and money? It does. Speaking of time, Christmas starts in October, Halloween starts in September. It seems like, let's see, we're in March right now. I'm sure all of the spring merchandise is out in the malls and the stores like that. It's essential that marketing intermediaries get these products where the customer can buy it at the time the customer wants it and gets it in the right place. As I mentioned, you never want to be more than 100 yards from a package of M&Ms. They got to have them everywhere. But you stop and think of all the stores in America that have M&Ms. Think about that for a second. Is that quite a job to get all those M&Ms in the right place? Now, if you're selling, we talked last time about specialty goods. If you're selling specialty goods, an automobile, you don't have to put them in as many locations. But still, you've got to make sure that all over your target market, wherever your target market is located. If you're Procter & Gamble, we talked about them selling toothpaste and toothbrushes. You've got to put that stuff virtually all over the United States. So they put it in the right form, they put it in the right place, and they give it to you at the right time. Possession. You ever realize and think about it, it costs money for a company to sell you something? People, all those machines that they have to help check out, all those people that help check out, sometimes we get frustrated because we have to stand in line, but it costs companies money, retailers, to allow you to take possession. That's something else they do. Information and service. I bet you there are certain places that you go because of the good information you receive or the good service you receive. I know if we're going to buy something like a television or a camera, we're going to go to Best Buy because we get some really good information from them. If I need some type of a part for something in the house or whatever, I'll go to TP Outdoors because I know they can help me there. So they provide me information, they provide me service. So this is the whole idea behind marketing intermediaries. They are critical as far as getting the product to the consumer. I would tell you that, again, kind of looking at this, I'd be sure that you're familiar with the 3 points that we made about marketing intermediaries. They can be eliminated, but what they do cannot. The fact that they add cost to goods, the fact that the reasons they have survived so long is because they're faster and cheaper than anyone else being able to do this. So I'd be familiar with those things. And I'd also be familiar with the different values and everything that marketing intermediaries add to a product. And I think that pretty much wraps up Chapter 15. Didn't take a long time to do Chapter 15, but placement of product is absolutely essential. Now, if you've been with me on these online series with Jolene, you know that I try to give Professor Pierce a signal that I am finishing a chapter to start another chapter, so as we line all this up for you as far as an online presentation. So I am getting ready to bring chapter 15 to a close. I'm shutting the lid on chapter 15, and we'll be back pretty quick, and we'll get started on chapter 16.